Was there an actual Jesus Christ, a living Christ?
There is, not was.
So it's when you talk about the Christ consciousness, it's a continuous thing.
What you call your linear timeline framework, I'll speak in this sense in terms of your time frame linearity. Yes, there was an actual individual named Yeshua who reflected and represented the idea of an expression of what we have termed, using your terminology, the Christ consciousness, which is simply the idea of the collective consciousness of your world. Same thing as Buddha nature, Krishna spirit. You understand? All the same thing can be expressed through individuals by being more and more themselves. But that energy still exists.
From the New Age, found Jesus and everything, and now they cast everything aside that is not Jesus. So everything is...
Then they don't actually understand Jesus. Because there have been many misinterpretations and misrepresentations and misunderstandings about what Jesus actually said and what he was all about, because a lot of the dialogue that came from him and others around him have been altered for the purposes of political power and certain kinds of gain, and therefore you don't really have an absolutely thoroughly accurate representation of what was really said at the time. Plus, in not understanding Jesus in the full capacity of his expression, then many people who purport to understand him or purport to believe in him actually have no understanding of the fact that he was presenting both a male and a female aspect in the Mary of the Magdalene. This is a couple. This is a male and female representation in balance, and many of the things that were actually talked about are extremely metaphysical and not exactly what the idea of the Christian belief system purports to be true.
Got it. So more... This is hard for me to ask, but more like how you've said the Magdalena things and more of the Essenian stuff and the Rosicrucian stuff is a little more coordinated.
Even there are misinterpretations in those. It is more the pure idea of the understanding of the balance between male and female in the expression of Yeshua and Maria, or Miriam the Magdalene.
So more just the simplicity of harmony between the sexes.
Yes.
Okay.
And the idea of the understanding of both sides' connection in balance to all that is, and the expressions thereof, many of which are very familiar now to those who have listened to metaphysical concepts in your modern age.
Was Jesus a hybrid extraterrestrial?
Jesus was a hybrid being, but not an extraterrestrial in the sense that you mean that he was from off planet. But he is a hybridized being that became very aware of his true full connection in that sense to source, and was attempting to demonstrate to all that you all have the same connection. Remember, he didn't want followers. He was attempting to reflect to you that you're all leaders. Yes?
Yes.
I've always been fascinated with the symbol of a Christ burning heart.
Yes.
So I would like you to describe to us what is the internal state or the state of consciousness of Christ with that burning heart? What does that feel like?
Do you not yourselves call it the passion of the Christ?
Yes.
Burning heart, passion. Follow your passion. Burn for it. There is nothing else more important. Nothing else that puts you more in touch with who you truly are.
And it looks like it's a state with very high awareness, ecstasy, but a lot of discomfort at the same time. Is that true?
It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Remember that was a specific lesson, a specific play being acted out for specific reasons that were relevant for that time that are no longer relevant for you. That was the point of it. This is the last time you have to actually see an example of this, if you understand the lessons being taught. That's what it means when someone says, oh, Jesus died for your sins. That has been misinterpreted in a number of different ways over the period of time from then to now. The idea is he went through that to show you that you didn't have to go through that this is the consequence of certain choices and to not make those choices. Remember, it wasn't his intention, no offense,
to create Christians. He was telling you all that you're all Christ's. Act like it, and then you will be free. You will resurrect yourselves into a new life, into a new understanding, and your heart will burn with the passion of being who you truly are.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. The idea of the Buddha nature, the Christ consciousness, the Krishna spirit, whatever you wish to call it, is that it is a representation of the collective whole, of the oversoul of any particular reality such as your own. While I, as an individual, am connected telepathically to my entire society and can represent that vibration if I wish from time to time, as any member of my society can, the idea is that as acting as an individual, we do not immediately represent thematically the idea of our entire society. We allow every individual to still be the individuals that they are. Do you understand?
Yes.
The idea is that the Buddha nature, while allowing individuals to be who they are, is simultaneously a representation of all individual energies, the oversoul of your world. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that explain the difference?
Yes, I believe so. So it's an overall consciousness as opposed to an individualized.
It's an individualized expression of the overall consciousness. So what we are saying is that in our reality, in our civilization, any one member can, if it serves a purpose, be a reflection of the overall consciousness. But at this point, it doesn't serve a purpose to actually stand out as an example in that way specifically, because every member of the society can do that. Whereas the idea of the Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, Krishna spirit in your society is for someone to act as a reflection of what each individual could function like, but aren't yet functioning like. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is the meaning in the Christ consciousness vernacular of I am the way. It means be like me, because you are like me, but you don't know it yet.
He was misunderstood in his day.
Very much so. Still misunderstood to this day.
And the Bible, I'm thinking, isn't an accurate translation of what he was trying to
Not
teach
always,
us and
no.
tell us.
No. Much of what, in that sense, that individual was teaching is very similar to what you are now understanding in what you call your metaphysical age. The idea is that simply people back then couldn't understand it. But to put it in a more fundamental sense, Yeshua, or as you say, Jesus, really did not intend in any way, shape, or form to create followers. Intended to create leaders, equals. Did not intend to create Christians per se, intended to let you all know you are Christ's. That's the greatest misunderstanding of the information. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So much of what you're understanding today is the idea that that individual was teaching, even down to the concept of how powerfully your beliefs create your reality, yes? Because did not, in that sense, at least to some degree, the Bible quote him as saying, it is your belief, it is your faith that has made the difference? Yes? And did it not also say that when Yeshua even went back to his hometown, because people there only knew him as a carpenter and did not believe in the things that other people said he could do none of those things in his hometown. And the Bible says so very clearly. You understand?
Yes.
It's all about the idea of your belief system. It's all about the idea of what you know to be true. It's all about your actions, all about your alignment. This is all that individual was saying, and that's what he meant when he said, I am the way. He meant be this way. I'm the example. I'm the way. Be like me.
Jesus, the Buddha,
Yes.
Muhammad.
Yes. Krishna,
Were
Vavoka, all of them.
Were they extraterrestrial beings?
There is some extraterrestrial connection to some of them, but the way you mean it, no.
I see.
Some of them have, in their physical form, genetic alterations that are connected to extraterrestrial genetics that allow them to function in the way that they did. But the idea in the way you mean it is, no, they are not literally extraterrestrial.
So
But they are representative of beings who are capable of expressing what we refer to as your world spirit. your collective whole spirit and soul of your world.
Were they then hybridized?
Some of them.
You don't want to say which ones.
The Christ body was hybridized.
Really?
The Buddha body was hybridized. The Krishna body was hybridized. The Vavoka body was hybridized. Did I mention all of them? Or?
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day. Cast your vote.
I go for 5 because I think.
Do none of you have your own opinions? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm joking with you.
I think focusing on the fact that everything exists in the now.
What a synchronicity.
Help moving away from being attached to the past.
All right, because there is no past to be attached to.
Yes.
If you understand there's no past to be attached to, it should be easy. Yes?
That's correct.
Then you don't have to work so hard at it, right?
Yeah.
All right. My work here is done.
So
or maybe not.
No, well, of course I have questions.
Oh, of course. You know, you can make statements. You don't need questions. And the paradox is that sometimes when you make a statement, you actually open a door far wider for us than the question does. But nevertheless, if you have questions, by all means, don't let us stop you.
Thank you. So for me, I'm noticing that what I want to focus on in life is 2 challenges.
What is the first challenge?
The first one is relationships.
Yes.
I feel like I haven't been able to attract. I feel like I want to be. I want to experience a relationship and experience a family.
You have no relationships of any kind in your life?
I had, but nothing that...
You had? So you know no one. You have no friends, no family.
No, I'm sorry. I meant in a romantic relationship as someone to share my life with.
Oh, all right. But you are sharing your life with many people.
As in a,
I think you're missing my point. Why are you calling that out as different than anything else? Why are you making that stand out and making it seem so different to achieve other than the relationships you already have created?
Maybe because I have a specific definition of that relationship that is different from, say, friendship or...
All right. I'm not saying that there aren't relationships that are different in that context, but nevertheless, I'm asking, why are you making it stand out as being so different than attracting any kind of relationship? Maybe it might be that your definition is making it more difficult to attract because you're creating it to be such a rarefied thing.
I believe that's correct.
You're putting it on a pedestal.
Yes.
Well, hard to reach, isn't it? When it's on a pedestal. If you bring it down to earth, like any relationship, I'm not devaluing it, not invalidating it, but if you allow it to be like any relationship, generally speaking, then whatever unique aspects that relationship has for you will be easier to access. But you can't put it on a pedestal and expect to reach it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is very similar to the idea of having a particular assumption, insistence, or expectation for how something should play out. And as we have already said, the formula for following your excitement is to drop all of that assumption and insistence and expectation for what the outcome ought to be, or how it should look, or in what form it should come. So putting things on a pedestal is very similar to that expectation.
And I'm noticing that I'm not only putting it on a pedestal, but I'm also becoming very picky as time goes. Which you would think, I would think it would be the opposite. But so I have like this really strong.
Do you not trust your life to bring you what you truly need? Do you have to engineer every detail to make sure it's right? Because becoming more picky, as you say, is the surest way to get reflections of others who are going to be just as picky about you. Remember, physical reality is a mirror. And if you become too picky, not saying you can't have preferences, but if you become judgmentally picky, then what you're going to get is a reflection of people who are also going to be picky about whether or not they want to interact with you, because that's what you're giving off. Make sense?
Yes.
Is this helping you relax some of your need to engineer this? And is it increasing your ability to trust that your life will unfold as it needs to, a little bit more naturally?
Yes, and to some extent, when I ask myself, okay, if this never happens,
yes,
will I still lead a happy and fulfilled life?
That's an excellent question to ask yourself. Asking that question is the right track.
And my answer to myself is yes, but I'm not sure if that's kind of like a mind kind of like type of answer, or
No.
that's what I truly believe.
Allow yourself to believe it if you wish. You don't have to. But if you allow yourself to believe that you will still be truly happy, even if that relationship never occurs, then you'll be truly happy. And when you are truly happy, you make it far more likely that such a relationship will occur. That's the paradox. Because you don't need it in that context, in the sense of neediness, in the sense of desperation. So when you're happy because you're happy, then all the things that are capable of entering your life to reflect the happiness that you choose to have, regardless of whether they show up or not, will be more capable of showing up. Remember, manifestation is not the product of bringing something to you that you don't have. Manifestation is the product of making visible what you already have, but simply don't see it because you're not in the same wavelength. If the idea of that joyful relationship is representative of happiness, then be happy regardless of whether the relationship is there, so at least you give the relationship a greater probability of showing up to reflect the happiness that you already have, because you don't need the relationship to make you happy. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Absolutely.
What is the second great challenge of your life?
It's somewhat you touched on, in your answer, you kind of like touched on it already, which
all
is...
right. So it might be the same challenge in different clothing.
It's very possible.
Oh, all right. Yes, I know.
It's about financial abundance.
Yes, well, we did touch on that.
So yeah,
do you wish to be abundant?
Yes, I mean...
Then be abundant in all ways, not just financially. Why limit it? Many people think, oh, well, if I have a lot of money, then I'm really abundant. When in fact, having a lot of money could actually be shutting the door to other forms of abundance that would actually be greater. Money is fine because that's a valid symbol on your planet, but it isn't always the path of least resistance to true abundance. Where it's needed, it will come in. Where it's not needed, it won't. And sometimes it not coming in is actually a way for you to get an idea that maybe another form of abundance would actually work better in that circumstance, such as we described with regard to the photographer. You understand?
Yes, and you know, I'm always prosperous, but it's almost like there's a wall where it kind of taps out. And
again, you're creating the wall with your definitions. There are no walls except as you define them. But again, you may be defining that wall because you believe you need more of a particular kind of abundance than any other. And as soon as you make one form of abundance unequal to all the rest, you throw the whole thing out of whack. All forms of abundance must be equally valid in order for any form of abundance to come to you more easily. As soon as you single one out as being more important, you shut the doors through which all the other forms could come, and you actually make it more difficult for even the form you're focused on to manifest, because now it can't count on the support of all the other forms of synchronous abundance that may be required for that form to manifest. Because they all work together. They all work together. They are not segregated. All forms of abundance support all other forms of abundance. As I said in the example with the photographer, even though she was willing to simply be flown around the world in exchange for the photographs, the airline still paid her. So her willingness to allow one form of abundance actually attracted another form of abundance, and another form, and another, because they're all interconnected. So don't insist on just one form, otherwise you, well, shortchange yourself.
Thank you. So you can't say, I'm just gonna, it's a game. I'm just gonna focus on this one thing and figure out a way to make it work.
You can if you wish, but I'm simply telling you that sometimes when you do that, you're taking the longer road. But if that's the road you wish to take, if that's the path you're exploring, if that's the theme you're looking into, then by all means, that's what you will keep doing until you have gotten every single ounce of understanding and learning out of it that you chose to get out of it. And I'm not going to stop you or dissuade you from taking that path. I am simply telling you what the underlying mechanisms are all about so that you have clarity about why you're choosing what you're choosing and why you're exploring what you're exploring. So that you don't think anything is wrong, you just understand that you're making choices and that there are consequences to those choices and that you can make other choices if you ultimately prefer to. And that's all we're telling you. It's up to you. Does that help?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And there was one question that was brought to me by one of the audience. How can you tell if someone is lying?
We already answered that. What difference does it make?
I'm just the messenger. I don't.
All right, but the idea really is ultimately, what difference does it make? If you know that whatever state of being you're creating for yourself is what you will experience no matter what anyone else's intention toward you is, it doesn't really much matter if they're lying to you or not, because you know that the only effect you're going to have in your reality is going to be a positive one regardless of what's going to happen with them. You understand?
Yes.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Energy has frequency to it. A simple example is what you call your visible spectrum of light, yes? You know it's all the same kind of electromagnetic energy, but you know that red is a different frequency, a different vibrational rate than blue, which is a higher vibrational rate. Yes? Yes? So when you allow yourself to align with your truth, your passion, your creativity, your love, you are allowing yourself to upgrade and accelerate, raise up your frequency. And by raising up your frequency, it makes you more sensitive as a receiver, in a sense, as an antenna, to pick up on even higher frequencies above and beyond your reality. Your senses expand. You start being able to perceive the structure of existence. You start being able to understand that you have a direct connection to source. You start being able to actually experience it in that way. You start being able to realize that you are already being given everything you can possibly be given. You don't necessarily have to ask for more. It's that you just have to pay more attention to what you're already getting. And raising your frequency makes you a more sensitive receiver to be able to pay more attention to what you're already being given that helps you. You're just making yourself basically more sensitive to receive higher energy information by matching that level, by matching that frequency. Remember, the principle is you cannot perceive what you are not the vibration of. So when you are vibrating at a certain rate, at a certain frequency, you can't perceive the things that are vibrating like this. You have to raise your frequency and become matched to that frequency like two tuning forks to be able to receive and understand and translate and process that vibration and all the information and all the experience that is relevant to that vibration. If you're down at this level on this vibration scale, you can't really have any experiences that are representative of a different vibrational level.
I guess the second part of my question would be to raise my vibration.
That's the formula that we've given you all. Yes? You act on your highest passion because passion is the translation in your body of your true frequency. Okay. You do it to the best you are able, and you do it with absolutely no insistence and no assumption, thinking that you know what the outcome is supposed to be of acting on that passion because your physical mind really has no idea. And if you insist on knowing what that outcome should be and put those kinds of restrictions on it, your higher mind and creation cannot necessarily then give you what could actually be much better than you have imagined. So you have to really trust the synchronicity and the higher self to deliver to you, when you're in the correct vibration of passion, all the things you truly need at that moment. Your physical mind is only designed to understand and experience what's happening, what's going on right now at this moment, and take that experience in. Your physical mind is not designed to really know what's going to happen, but higher intelligence does. And therefore it guides you and says, follow your passion. That's the compass needle pointing to your true north. That's the compass needle that allows you to align with your true self and your true path in life. Follow the passion, follow the love, follow the excitement, follow the curiosity, follow the creativity. That's what you are. That's who you are. And then you know your path will be unerring. It will be the path of least resistance, the path of joy. You will experience less struggle and strife. It's just the way it works. You're going with the flow of your current. You're not swimming upstream. You're not resisting it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's the formula. Act on your highest passion to the best you can at every moment. Do it as much as you can, as far as you can take it, until you can take it no further. Then act on the next most exciting thing. And then do that with absolutely no insistence, no assumption as to what the outcome ought to be, and see what happens. And then whatever happens, remain in a positive state. Even if something manifests that you don't initially prefer, you have to know it's there for a reason. There are no accidents. It's there for a reason. Learn to stay in a positive state, and then you can use what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer and get the benefit from it. But you have to know that whatever you are given is what you need at that moment. Because sometimes you will test yourself. Maybe something will manifest that you don't prefer, and maybe you will find yourself reacting in the same old way with the same old fear-based beliefs and say, oh, why did that happen? Something must be wrong. Something's off. I will judge myself. I must have done something wrong. That is what exactly makes that state stick and stay there and get you in a loop of negativity. But if you suddenly realize, all right, I recognize objectively that I don't prefer this, but I know it's got to be there for a reason that serves me. I just know that. Then you will be able to extract the benefit. You will see eventually why it happened in that way, if for nothing else again, that you tested yourself to make sure that you're not making your happiness conditional on what happens outside. You are making your happiness conditional only on what you decide is true for you. The question really is, why would you really need to know more than you need to know?
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Well, the reason why I would probably want to know...
I
want to know.
Didn't say want.
Yeah.
I said need.
Need.
Remember that while sometimes wants can coincide with needs, that's very often not the case on your planet. Wanting can sometimes simply be the negative ego thinking it needs something to be happy when in fact it has nothing to do with what it needs. So watch the wanting, just be aware of that, and also understand that wanting is its own state. Wanting is not having. So the more you want, the more you remain in a state of wanting, not having. That's its own reality vibration. But if you know you always get what you need, the question is, why really would you want anything other than what you truly need to be yourself?
Well, with what you just said...
Yes.
If I feel like I have everything I need, and then if I was just revel in that...
Yes.
Then I may never really do anything.
That's not true. You will keep acting on your passion. You know, when we talk about the idea of acting on your passion, we don't mean you act on your passion to get things. You act on your passion for its own sake, not for anything you think it will bring you. But when you act on your passion for its own sake, you will always attract what you need to be able to continue to do so and expand your ability to do so. That's just par for the course. But you won't know that until you're there, because you won't know what you need for the next level until you actually move to the next level, because there's no point in knowing what you need for the next level until you're there. So it's all right not to know that now. You can feel like you have everything you need right now on this level. But if you find something that you're passionate about, even just the tiniest bit, act on it and see what happens. It might bring you something you didn't know you needed in order to be more of yourself. Yes?
Yes.
But?
Well, I guess I'm so used to living from my head.
Living from your head.
Right. Well, the beliefs that I have.
Yes.
Guiding my path in life, basically.
Yes.
I'm so used to that. Like if I think doing one thing is right,
yes,
and another is wrong, and I act on it, and that's
yes,
how I'm used to living.
All right.
So
but I'm not really talking about anything different.
Well, I haven't really paid attention to, for example, what my passion would be in life. I've kind of
No. You misunderstand. It's not about what your passion in life is. I'm not saying that your passion has to express itself as a life-spanning career or project. I'm talking about at every single moment, you have a number of options available to you about what you can do. Again, for example, we will assume that you're here today having this conversation because you were more excited about this option and acted on it more than any other option available to you at that moment. Yes?
Yes.
That's why you're here. So when this conversation is over, you look around at your life and go, let's see, what are my options? They don't have to be life-spanning options. Simple, everyday things. That's all we're really saying is how to start the ball rolling. It might expand into something bigger, but you start with what you can do. So at the end of this conversation, at the end of this day, you can say, well, let's see. I can take a walk, I can read a book, I can have dinner with a friend, I can make a phone call, I can see a movie, I can drive a car, etc., etc., etc. Just pick the one that's even just a little bit more attractive than any other, a little bit more exciting than any other, a little bit more of a tug of curiosity than any other. That's all you need to keep doing. Act on it with no insistence as to what the outcome should be, where it should lead, or anything. Just do the best you can and see what happens. That's how you build the momentum. That's how your passion will expand, but it doesn't have to feel that big at first. So, we assume that you will simply continue at the end of this day to simply choose to do the things that you are interested in doing. Yes?
Yes.
That's all there is to it. It's not a big mystery. That's what we mean when we say act on your highest passion. It can even be just this tiniest bit more exciting than any other normal, typical option.
Okay, for example.
Yes.
I was passionate about playing soccer in college.
Yes.
And I didn't continue to spend more time playing soccer because I wanted to finish my studies and get a good job, which I was also passionate about.
Why? Stop. Why? What's the reason that you changed? Was it really representative of your passion, or was it representative of a fear that something bad would happen if you didn't?
It was based on a belief that
Yes.
I needed a good earning job.
So, what you're saying is you didn't believe that your passion could support you.
Yes.
Well, there you go, you see? You're not acting on your passion.
Right.
That's a perfect example of refusing to believe that your passion can support you because you don't have a complete definition of passion. Therefore, you didn't understand that if you actually allow yourself to continue acting on your passion, that in some way, shape, or form, it has to, by definition, support you unless you have beliefs that it can't. That's the only thing that stops passion from supporting any of you.
is you have a belief that it's not possible for it to do so. Otherwise, you would see that it is capable of doing so. So you stopped yourself from acting on your passion with your belief system.
Well, but in retrospect, I'm happy with my decision at the time because I'm happy with where I am.
But you made the decision negatively, out of fear. You don't know that you wouldn't have wound up here anyway. The point is, if you're going to wind up where you have wound up, why not get there through joy rather than shortchanging yourself?
Okay, so what you're saying is that every action should come from a space of joy.
Yes, because that's your true self, and that will give you more options as to where that will lead. You will always go where you need to go, and if you actually truly needed to wind up where you say you're happy being, your passion would have brought you here anyway. You didn't have to make decisions that were the antithesis of your passion to wind up in a place where you're happy.
Okay.
So why not allow the journey to be just as enjoyable? Yes?
Yes. I just,
Yes.
Okay, I have a sense of responsibility, I guess, but you're saying then...
No, you're misunderstanding
all my
the point.
responsibility might be focusing on following my bliss and my
Yes,
passion.
that is your true responsibility. And again, responsibility. Your ability to respond to your true vibration. That's what contains everything you need. It will bring you everything you need. You just have to know that's how it works, that's all. You don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to take detours. Yes?
Okay, yes. What do you have to say about setting goals?
It's all well and good to have what you call a goal, a visualization, an image that represents what you consider to be an ideal outcome. But when the picture, when the goal gets you excited about the goal, about the visualization, about the picture, that's exactly the time to completely and utterly drop it. Because again, its purpose is to get you in the state of being that will actually attract what you need, because you don't know that the goal you've set or the picture you're visualizing is actually the best possible outcome. You don't know that. But your higher mind does know what you need. And it will always bring you whatever actually will serve you best, even if it looks nothing like your physical mind thought it ought to, which is very often the case.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So if you can wrap your mind around that and have a deeper understanding of how these things work, things will be more along the path of least resistance. You won't have to wonder so much about where you're going or why you should make this or that decision. And you won't have to make decisions because you think that this can't support you when it can. There are a myriad number of examples on your planet of things that many people would say, there's no way that could possibly support you in life, and yet there are people exactly being supported by those things. You can be too. You just have to decide to be in that group instead of this group. That's all.
Thank you.